Previously on Fear the Walking Dead.
Well, you obviously haven't seen the 1,000,000 people simping over Alicia, buddy. You might want to get in line. He's got people like working for him, taking his stuff as he walks by, giving him like strawberries and this and that. It's not, you're not what I need. Okay, you're gonna go. And he says him, he's like, I'm sorry to leave you back out there. Wait, I'm not sorry. He takes him, throws him over the frickin' roof of the building and lets the walkers devour him. Oh my god.
Mr. Jones may have got the best of me today.
Nah, you just couldn't get rid of him, could ya?
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for Fear the Walking Dead. This is going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Season 7 of Fear the Walking Dead. This is for the second episode, titled 6 Hours.
Take another step, I'll shoot! You know why I have to do this!
You can take everything from me!
Okay guys, just gonna be doing a review for today. This one's gonna be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 7. This is for the second episode, Episode 2, titled 6 Hours. So, we are back for this week's episode and the review for Fear the Walking Dead, Episode 2, 6 Hours. So, after leaving off, after the season premiere, we get to continue with our anthology-style episodes for this season. And this week we have Morgan and Grace. So, really cool, as we see in the intro. So, this is a really interesting episode. We have a lot of things to go over. I definitely have things I will say of this episode that I'm not a big fan of, but there are a lot of big twists and big moments. So definitely a spoiler warning for this episode if you haven't seen it yet. So, this week's episode, we focus on Morgan and Grace after the events of episode 16. They are inside the submarine, and basically they are going on separate supply runs to try to find food for little Morgan. Now, Grace, kind of during this trip, runs into, well, not runs into, but, you know, she gets, she hears that there are people in this store that she's searching for supplies. And it is this family that she, well, first hides from. She hides from them at first, and then later on, when her and Morgan decide to both go out there, and Morgan kind of has this car that he basically decides to kind of lead the submarine in and stuff like that, and try to get as far away as they possibly can out of the radiation, they run into the family again as they get a flat tire. Now, one scene in this episode I was not a fan of is when you've got the scene with Grace where you hear her voice over the radio, and it's the music, and she's like, no, Morgan, turn it off, Morgan, turn it off, turn it off. And Morgan's like, oh, no, dude, what? Hey, stop. You know, it's just like, dude, you made him crash. Like, for the love of God. Like, I don't know. That scene really frustrated me. It's because of Grace and her complaining about what the hell's on the damn radio, Morgan crashes. So, I'm not a fan of that scene. That was utterly stupid. But anyway, they run into this family that basically try to claim little Morgan as their own, okay? And I remember at first, I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the hell? Like what are you guys crazy? And well, you find out that they are crazy, and they're absolutely out of their minds. And basically, it is a family of the one male character, the one female character, and we find out that the reason why they're so attached to little Morgan and why they want to take little Morgan so bad, because they actually make an attempt in this one to take little Morgan away from them. And I actually really like this because you got Morgan that, you know, kind of fights back at first. Like, at first, they put their hands up. They have no choice. But when they drive off with little Morgan, Morgan's just like, and this is how you can tell, Morgan's like, look, I'm not losing another kid again. I'm going to get little Morgan back, right? So that's kind of the conflict in this episode is with that. Now, let's talk about Grace for a second. Grace in this episode is having a hard time after what happened with Athena to almost realize what's happening with little Morgan. She almost doesn't want to be involved, and she almost even, like, she even says to Morgan in this one, like, go on without me. You know, maybe we should have just, ended it back in episode 16 when they were going to blow their brains out. That's kind of what she thinks. It's like, look, like, I didn't want to stay in this world and, this and that. And she's kind of having second thoughts. But Grace in this episode, she is an okay character, but I find a lot of frustrating things about her this week. I'm going to be honest. There are some moments with Grace this week that I'm just like, okay, why? Like, I just, it's like, why? I don't know. Certain things for me, I just, nah, it's not for me with Grace this week. But she was okay, but definitely there in that first half, I was a little frustrated. But anyway, we find out that this family, who obviously they have like these, like these bandages like all over their face, and you find out as they mention again Padre, and you see their faces are all messed up, and I'm like, okay. Second episode we've heard about this. It definitely is getting interesting because they're definitely dragging this out and they're egging this on as like, okay, what is this? They've got my interest, but I still am worried that the storyline with Victor that we know from episode 1 is going to get crushed by whatever the hell this is. And that's my biggest concern, and that's my biggest worry, because we know it has nothing to do with Victor. Victor saw it last episode, and he had no idea what it was. So, it's obviously something new, and there's something near the end of the episode. We'll get to it in a sec, but there's something that happens near the end of the episode that kind of makes me think, like, okay, maybe they're going to go this angle with it. But I don't know. It's weird. They mention it a lot. But anyway, this family, as we get kind of the sad story, we find out that their baby, they had a baby, just like Morgan and Grace. But here we go with fear again. Their baby is zombified, and they just don't have it in them to put their baby down. And Morgan, realizing this, he takes action, and it's really sad, and it's a really messed up scene to frickin' watch. Because Morgan and them, they're fighting off these people, these guys on the road who are kind of coming after this family, but they realize, like, man, like, it's a sad situation. It really, really is. And honestly, I don't know who these guys on the road are, but they come after them a few times and we see like their headlights a lot. So I don't know if this has anything to do with Padre or if this is something to do with Howard, if that's what it was supposed to be. But Morgan and them, they shoot some of them. And then they kind of get away. But Grace kills the male character because he's about to hurt little Morgan. And this is kind of when you start developing, okay, Grace actually does care about little Morgan. She doesn't want anything to happen to little Morgan. And it's kind of like, okay, like she's coming to terms with it, So that's kind of what this whole thing is. Grace seeing this family and what they went through with this kid, with their dead baby, which is just, what is up with fear and dead babies? I gotta ask, like, what the hell is up with this show and dead babies? Like, am I the only one asking that question? Like, holy frig. They love doing that. I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, Grace kind of, I guess, takes control back, and she kind of decides, like, okay, I am willing to do this, and I'm going to protect little Morgan no matter what, and this and that. And her and Morgan decide to go back to the submarine after that. So it's interesting for sure. But the female character is still alive, so we'll have to see what happens. And again, anything with Padre, I'm definitely very curious. So back at the submarine, we get to see, which was definitely my favorite part of this episode, 100%. We get some Victor stuff. Not Victor himself, but which was the least expected thing for me. Howard actually meets up with Morgan and Grace in this one, and he basically offers Grace, as he's inside the submarine, and he basically like takes a bunch of their stuff. He offers a safe place for Grace to go and the baby, and Morgan actually wants Grace to go. He actually wants Grace to leave and go to wherever Strand's setting up, but Grace insists on staying with Morgan, and Howard kind of decides to just walk off, and he's like, well, okay, but Morgan is not allowed in. That's the main message of this scene, is that Strand does not allow Morgan in, but it sounds like anybody else from Morgan's group, Strand is letting join. So that's interesting, but definitely Howard, man. Honestly, I did not expect to see him just have a role like this. I kind of expected him to just be like kind of that chill dude that would kind of chill with Strand and interrogate people, not going out there in the radiation and like meeting up with Morgan and stuff. So that was really interesting actually. 100%. Now, all right, let's talk about the ending of this episode. Let's address the elephant in the room in this one. So, okay, I'm gonna say this before we get into this. This was spoiled for me. Okay, I knew about this a couple days ago, so unfortunately, there wasn't much of a reaction there. But the spoilers I heard said that this guy appeared in episode 4, and he appears in episode 2. And who I'm talking about is, I can't even believe they did this, Emil's twin brother. Okay, so If you guys aren't familiar with Emil, I'll just let you know real briefly. He is the bounty hunter that went after Morgan in season 6, that Morgan took his clothes and went after Virginia. Well, we find out as the twin brother has the Morgan Jones box and he sees his dead brother's head in the box, he is pissed off. He is like all rage now. And Emil has a twin brother that appears to probably is going to be a threat this season. So this is the reason I'm not going to say I like this, okay? I have a feeling a lot of you guys are going to come at me and you're going to be like, Dan, isn't that great? Like, he's a great character. Why don't you like it? Because of this main reason. This was never planned, okay? It was never planned, and you can't tell me it was. They never planned this. The only reason that this guy is here right now is because Emil was a fan favorite, and they're bringing him back because they know that the fans enjoyed him, and they know that they probably should have kept him longer, and now they are trying to fix what they've already broke. And I like Emil's death. I don't think he needs a twin brother, and guess what else? I like Villain Strand. I am actually really liking Howard, for example, this episode. That's a good threat. I like Strand as the villain. Why do we have to include this and probably push Strand to the side? I am not a fan of this, guys. I am not a fan of this at all. And honestly, I like the actor that plays Emil. He does a great job. This is nothing against him. They should have never done this. And it honestly is really, really crappy that they actually brought that character back. Because why? Why would you bring him back? Like, honestly, there is no reason for you to bring him back. We already have a great villain with Strand. Why are you going back and taking an actor that did a great job and bringing him back as an evil twin? I don't get it, man. I honestly don't. I honestly think that this idea was very, very dumb on their part, honestly, and it's not a plot I'm very much excited for. So, all right, this episode, it's okay. You know, it's an okay episode. I like things about it. I do like Morgan and Grace. I do like portions of it, but the screaming baby, that really got on my nerves this episode. The, like a lot. Really got on my nerves. Play the kid some damn music, man. I don't like Emil's twin brother. Like I said, I mean, where it goes from here, I can't judge, but the initial return and the idea, it's like, man, why are you doing this? Like, Strand is a perfect villain. Why are you bringing back something we've essentially already seen? You know, it's stupid, honestly, if you ask me. And I know I'm probably the only one that's going to say that. I have a feeling everybody's going to be like, oh my god, Dan, Emil, like, this is insane. I don't like it, guys. I absolutely despise it. I think it's such a stupid idea that they would bring him back just because they know that people loved Emil. So they're like, okay, let's do it again, you know? It's like, dude, Emil was good in one episode. That's it, you know? Oh man, I don't know. So this week's episode, I'll give it a 7.5. You know, it's not a bad episode by any means. It just has a lot of problems for me. But it's an okay episode. You know, it's a pretty decent watch. I do like certain aspects of it, but I don't know. There's certain things in this one that really royally piss me off. So anyway, let me know in the comments, what did you guys think about this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead? It's a pretty decent episode this week. Let me know and write your comments in the comment section below. So, of course, guys, if you're new here, click to subscribe and to don't miss any videos. So, Fear the Walking Dead, follow Dance Walker TV, subscribe, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for another video for Fear the Walking Dead. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
She won't have anything to do with me after this.